Alrighty, and we are here with the weekly restream for Prime 1 with TGC, the Ginger Chris, versus Pfizer. And we've got this race on the way. Very excited to see these two players go at it. There's a lot that I've seen these two do. Ginger Chris, especially. I've seen a lot of his work. And today we have odd settings with standard elevators and mainly big intersects, nothing insane. And let's see how this goes. Oh, instant artifact here in Alcove. Not typically seen. Most of the time you'll find progression here. We have a nice artifact of wild, but early wild to a whole nother level. Move down there. Just a missile, nothing insane. Both of these players doing a pretty good job so far of clearing out the early game. TGC with a very slight lead, nothing insane. Ice King definitely. Oh yes, TGC with the fusion suit. You love to see that. So it looks like most likely they're going to find missiles on Hive Totem. Hive Totem is really the only progression here. What do we got, Main Plaza? That looks like the missile. Well, oh, we've got a vanilla. 2 E-tanks in Main Plaza. Okay. Gonna be nice and healthy once we get Space Jump. Alright, Ruin Shrine. I believe that was a missile. Insane. Right, here we are, finally a Hive Totem. We're gonna see a vanilla missile launcher, I believe. Looks like it. There we go. Always love to see missiles early on. Opens up a large chunk of the early game for the players here. There we go. We've got more fallen missiles. So far pretty standard, nothing too crazy that the players are gonna have to go through. Looks like Ruin Shrine is definitely the play now. Is she doing a safe warp here? Wow, okay. Didn't expect that. Not sure what the plan is. Perhaps early hints, I'm assuming. Personally, I would have gone to Ruin Shrine. I think maybe an opportunity for Fuzzy to get some time. It's so nice. I thought Fuzzy's going to go to Ruin Shrine, it looks like. Staying here from TGC, I'm not sure. We'll see if this pays off. This is going to be an interesting choice. I'm looking forward to see what's in Ruin Shrine, but more than anything, we're ready to see these hints. Oh, look at that. We've got SJ. Looks like Fuzzy might be getting a good shot at the lead here, getting Space Jump significantly earlier here than TGC. Or he will be able to get suitable information. Ooh, Boost Ball. Okay. We're going to be seeing some interesting routing between two players here. Wisely may have the better opening inventory here, but TGC will have the opportunity for hints. He will no longer have to backtrack to it. Okay, it looks like he's gonna read them now. What we got? Ruin Fountain, Overgrown Cavern, Ice Ruins East, Watery Hall, Training Chamber. Okay, those are a lot of them shows though. Surprisingly, nothing terrible. Although we will need backtrack here once we get Wave Beam, and most likely Various Suit in order to get that Training Chamber artifact. Flogger logically required. We will need to see more ball bombs first before we can fight Flogger. It's possible that we may find them on Zoid. Personally, here I feel like Izzy is going to get the better end of the stick here. On the space jump. Yeah, as expected, Izzy looks like most likely going to check Watery Hall and then to Zoid, depending on what he gets. Not more ball bombs happens a lot more than you'd expect. Oh, SpeedGaming 5. Welcome to SpeedGaming 5. We're in the middle of the Prime Randomizer weekly restream tournament. Or not tournament, the restream. At the moment, we've got nothing crazy. We do have some interesting routing differences between two players here, with Faizy getting that gravity suit along with that space jump. Going to make a lot of underwater movement. Um, very easy. And we have a lot of early artifacts. Ooh, okay. We have main power bombs here and Watery Hall. Interesting. Yeah, here's the thing, is that when you go and scan hints early, you risk losing time because a lot of artifacts may be found early on, and you may not need as much information from Artifact Temple than normal. Wow, Phazon suit very early on. I wonder what what is it doing there? Okay, that looks like the seed might be, well, it might be sub-hour, it depends. The Wave Beam location still has a good chance of being terrible, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's looking like the Artifact Temple play from TGC may be putting him a little bit behind here. He does have information about what's in Training Chamber and the other items in Talon. But I don't believe that's going to be decisive this game. What were the artifacts? We had a lot of Chozo ones. Mainly of them are early ones like Ruin Fountain and also Alcove. But we also have an artifact in Training Chamber, and if I remember correctly, it is also Life Grove and Overgrown Cavern. So it's pretty early, and we already have Phazon suits, so it's looking like we may be getting a pretty brief seed here. And I'm very interested to see how TGC is going to go with his routing now that he's gotten the hints. Alright, looking like Faizy's going to assume that Zoid here has more pole bombs. And to be fair, Zoid will have more pole bombs and a lot more seeds than you expect. I've played a fair amount of beginner seeds, and you'll probably find a lot of tournament races and just races in general will have vanilla bombs or in the other location. Plasma and MQA. That would be quite the troll. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility, albeit I doubt any of the runners would like that to happen. Okay, just an E-tank so far. Not looking the best here for Zoid to have bombs, but we still got a chance. Looking like TGC is going to make his way over to where Faizy's currently cleaning up. Baizi just having a little bit of fun there with the burning War Wasp Hive. He's just sticking his head into it, saying what's up. Alright, TGC finally coming to Watery Hall Access, getting that gravity suit. Probably going to be quite shocked by the amount of stuff here in Shozo. And unfortunately, we do not have vanilla bombs. It's going to be a reset there from Faisy. So where could bombs be? I don't believe either of them have checked the transport tunnel, believe, below Root Cave. I think bombs may have that there. DGC finally finding those main PVs. Unfortunately, it looks like he may have forgotten to scan the first runic symbol. That's unfortunate. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, occasionally if you let go just as soon as the scan bar fills up, you won't actually be able to scan it. Under the ship were missiles, so unfortunately not. Looks like Feisy's going to check out for a crash site and see if it's there. Unfortunately, we already know that morphle bombs are not there. TGC acquiring that phase on soon now, realizing that the seed may be a lot shorter than he was anticipating. Alright, Faisy finally finding that missile expansion there. Most likely going to head over to Root Cave and clean things up. Looks like he's trying to get some drops from the blast caps. Unfortunately, oh, never mind. A lot of times those blast caps will be very stingy with drops, but it appears that those ones are going to be nice this time around. Izzy looking like he's going to get those hints now. Yeah, I believe Faizy's in a good spot here, personally. Not sure the next play is from these runners. Now that I think about it, I don't believe they've checked Ruined Shrine, the Morph Ball Tunnel, with the cover over it. Perhaps Morph Ball Bombs may be there. Alright, now Faizy has the luxury of being able to go zoom with the Morph Ball. My question is he going to scan these hints now, or is he going to scan them later? Oh, look at that. We have a Various suit in a Ruined Shrine. Okay. Looks like possibly Morph Ball Bombs will be in Magmore. What do we got? I think it might be probably Warrior Shrine now I'm thinking about that. Could be there. It looks like maybe TGC's play might have worked regardless. Because now he knows that logic is pointing him towards Magmore, where Morph Ball Bombs are probably waiting in either Lava Lake or maybe somewhere in the Warrior Shrine, Monitor Station area. Let's hope he can get a PB drop on his way there. Alright, Faizy going to be trying to do the Root Cave scan dash. Unfortunately falling down. He's going to backtrack up there after grabbing this item. Now, will more bombs be here? I don't believe so. Nope, we've got an E-tank, unfortunately. Bombs on Thardus? I don't think that's would work. Do they need more bombs when they already got power bombs? In order to go through Lava Lake, there are two sort of Morph Ball Bomb block tunnels that can be destroyed with power bombs. TDC is going to hopefully get a power bomb drop so we can get through that. Doesn't look like the drop system's going to be friendly with him today. However, is going to be checking what's at the top of Root Cave. I don't know if logically climb up here without X-ray, but we'll see. Oh, okay. Power bomb expansion. It'll help with drops, but unfortunately they do already have PVs. And TDC going to be finding an E tank there. Oh, he did get a powerbomb drop. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Hold up. Faizi is doing the out of bounds here without bombs. That's a very dangerous maneuver. It looks like, however, he is pulling it off. The game is attempting to find him some standable terrain as he's holding L here. Looks like he almost got it. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to climb up. Oh, there we go. He's got it. Now all he has to do is load the room by staying on the plasma door, or like that. Nice. Just a missile, unfortunately. Very nice out-of-bounds trick from Feisty, though, especially without more bombs. Pretty dangerous. Another E-tank here, and 9 more. Still on the hunt for those more bombs. It's looking like they may be in Warrior Shrine. Also a small chance they're in Fiery Shores, but I think it's more likely that they're going to get Warrior Shrine Morphle. Yeah, it looks like Feisty unfortunately slipping a little bit behind here because unfortunately they did not backtrack for Ruined Shrine as early as TGC did. Routing is a key component here in raises. Alright, here we're going to see from TGC whether or not we got more pole bombs here in Warrior Shrine. My bet is on yes. Okay, now Feisty gets that Various suit. Long awaited. Looks like TGC going to be looking for a powerbomb drop. Fortunately, not going to be able to get any of them. Just going to check what's here in Warrior Shrine. Will we have more ball bombs? No, we will not. No power bombs. Fortunate there, TGC. Prime drop systems are very stingy, especially with their power bombs. This may be a slight opportunity here for Feisty to catch up on some time. Gonna be heading over to Lava Lake as well. Oh, there we go. I didn't notice, but TGC got a powerbomb drop. We shall see. Thermal visor. Oh, he's going to do the wall boost. Ooh, okay. This wall boost is a little difficult. What he's going to do is he's going to boost ball into that little rock there to gain enough height and go into the Morphle tunnel. It's not the easiest because the camera doesn't stay still. But if he does pull this off, it will be a great sight to see. He's not interested in losing all that progress. Ooh, that was really close. If I see some major opportunity to catch up here. Ooh. He's getting closer and closer. Almost. Starting to get the timing down now. All that matters. Now let's get into it. And he does it. Amazing job from TTC here. It's going to save him a lot of time and trouble. Now backtracking for thermal visor once you get more ball bombs. It's not much of an issue. I'm not sure if Feisty will go for the same thing. But really well played here from TGC now. And there we go. We have more ball bombs here in Fiery Shores. Looking like now, I'm assuming TGC wants to backtrack to Chozo, I suppose. Maybe he needs to go check out Rue Cave. It's most likely it. I don't believe he got that item on his way there. Wall boost strats. Alright, Fai's gonna be fighting that E. Knows that Morphle bombs are definitely somewhere farther in Magmore. He's gonna be getting a power bomb drop though. I wonder if he's gonna save that for Fiery Shores. I wonder if TGC is also going to do the Arbor Chamber out of bounds. I believe that's likely. Perhaps he wanted to wait to get more pub bombs before he came up here so he could do that exact thing. However, Feisty, uh, able to take a little bit more risks and do it without getting more pub bombs. Ooh, unfortunate from TGC there, falling down there. At least it wasn't all the way down. Root Cave is very punishing when it comes to falling down. It's one of the tallest rooms in the game. Alright, TGC going to be doing this out of bounds. He's got Morphle Bombs. Feisty also grabbing those Morphle Bombs. Now that he doesn't have to go to Root Cave. Okay, he's going to check hints now. He's going to realize that a lot of them early on. Yes, there was also an Ice Ruins East one. I forgot to mention that. Now, is that going to be Spider locked or Plasma locked? That's the question here. Looks like Feisty now is going to be backtracking to Fiery Shores now that he has more pub bombs. It will no longer be such a dangerous action to go and obtain it. It looks like both runners are going to be heading to Fentrana after they've gotten all these checks. There's a small chance here. Actually, now that I think about it, there might be a good chance here that we may find Vanilla Wave Beam. Or maybe we have Wave Beam on Flagra. Who knows? It does indeed look like both of them are going to be going to Fendrano. Feisty pulling off a very nice scan dash there. Not the easiest one to pull off, but definitely one that will save you a lot of time and trouble. Ooh, okay, we have Plasma Beam now. Interesting. And that still indicates a Fendrana play. Puts a lot of the ice-blocked items in logic. The item is indeed, that artifact is indeed blocked by ice. That means they will no longer have to backtrack to Fendrana for artifacts, which may make life a lot easier for them. The problem is here, though, is that Plasma Beam does not actually unlock that much of the area for them until they get Wave Beam. So Wave Beam here is really the item that will open up a lot of checks for them. Interesting diversion here. Spicy opting to go over immediately to Ice Ruins East, whereas here TGC is going to go check out Chozo Ice Temple and Vanilla Wave Beam. Unfortunately, he cannot get whatever is in the Wave Beam area until he has Wave Beam. Alright, so that is a Plasma locked artifact. Means they will not have to backtrack here for Spider in order to get that. Ooh, okay. We've got a Spider Ball here. Scarily enough, that puts Stardust in logic. Because now that I think about it, Spider Ball doesn't do too much immediately for them. Perhaps, well, I guess it logically wouldn't unlock Ruined Courtyard either. It does make going up that a little bit easier for them if they do not want to screw around with the standable terrain trick. Now TGC is going to backtrack for that Ice Ruins East pickup. Unfortunately, however, Feisty did not grab Spider Ball and does not realize that Ice Ruins East item may have progression. This may be an opportunity here for TTC to catch up, depending on what we find here. Ooh, that's going to be really big for TGC. Now he has Wave Beam, and that opens up a mountain of checks. Feisty is unfortunately going to have to backtrack now. Something that did surprise me over was TGC did not take the time to check Chapel of the Elders. Not sure if it would have anything important. Alright, Feisty going now to Chozo Ice Temple. TGC's routing here definitely paid off. Only ice from Go mode? Mostly, yeah. Supers is still out there somewhere, but it appears that it may not be required for this seed, out of what we know. Because logically they would still need X-Ray to fight Essence, but I do not believe they would be willing to, you know, backtrack for X-Ray or fight him without Essence. So we shall see where it lies. Feisty finally going to be picking up that Spider Ball. This time around going to be checking Chapel of the Elders. I am interested to see if it has any progression, but I believe that it may not. TGC seemed pretty confident that there was not going to be progression there. We'll see if it pays off. That looks like a missile. I do not believe there was anything there in Chapel of the Elders. It's definitely not Wave Beam, so Feisty will be backtracking there, or not backtracking there, but leaving here and never coming back. Feisty here most likely now going to find Wave Beam. Alright, TGC going through labs now. Definitely the right play. Didn't see any need to backtrack through Magmor. However, if he doesn't find ice here, then he will have to backtrack through Magmor. Oh, look at that. So Feisty is going to be save warping back to start. Interesting. Perhaps they are taking into consideration that there might be a deeper Magmor play here. It's an E-Tank there in Observatory. Only 2 more checks left. If it's not Ice Beam, then TGC is going to have to backtrack through Magmor. Interesting. So Feisty looks like he's going to be cleaning up Chozo instead. Most likely also going to backtrack for that Training Chamber artifact. That does put a good amount of stuff in Chozo in logic. So Feisty's play here is definitely reasonable. Interesting rounding differences here. Who do I think is going to pay off more? I believe Feisties is personally. But we will see. Still possible that we may find Ice Beam here in labs. However, there is a much meatier chunk of checks in Chozo Ruins. That was a bit of a tongue twister there. Going to be an E-tank there in Control Tower. It's looking pretty bad for TGC here. I see immediately going to climb Tower of Light. I'm going to check what the item is. Ooh, okay. There's the deciding factor. TGC finding Ice Beam here in Research Lab Aether, I believe. That's quite big. It's a very big difference here for TGC. Unfortunately, Feisty is going to have to wait and backtrack for go mode. Or at least what feels like go mode, out of what we know. Kirby fan, there is, I believe what these runners will do is that there is a, well, logically Flogger is indeed required, but there is also the standable terrain trick to skip it. Which I will make them life a lot easier. Feisty, however, is going to be able to do a lot of the artifacts before he has to backtrack. But I do believe TGC is very comfortably in the lead here. Look at that. We have a Ruined Gallery grapple beam. Unfortunately, it looks like mines may just be completely irrelevant play, unless it is X-ray and the players are willing to go to great lengths to grab that to not deal with Essence, but I believe we may just see a X-ray-less gravity fight, or Essence fight, that is. Yes, unfortunately, we will not be seeing Flogger here today, because logic here is meant to be broken. Looks like Feisty's going to be grabbing that right now, as a matter of fact. While Feisty's going to be able to grab these artifacts earlier than TGC, he still has to backtrack for that Ice Beam. And there's still a plethora of checks here in Chozo left to do. So it is possible that it will take a long time for him to go back to the labs for Ice Beam. Alright, now TGC is going to be cleaning up Chozo now that he's found Ice Beam. So I see doing Training Chamber now. Makes sense. TGC just going to double check the artifact locations, make sure he isn't missing anything important. SpeedGaming, welcome. You came just at what seems to be close to the end of the Metroid Prime weekly randomizer. We've got two very well-known players here. TGC versus Feisty, and I want to say that TGC is comfortably in the lead here. But anything can happen here. For all we know, Feisty's artifact backtrack play may work out. Ooh, that's unfortunate. TGC accidentally hitting the one spot there where Spider Ball doesn't want to cooperate. There he goes. My question is, how long will it be until Feisty determines that, oh shoot, I didn't do labs, and progression could be there, Ice Beam could be there. Something that does surprise me, however, is that TGC, actually, for both the runners, neither seem to really care about X-Ray in this sense. I'm very curious to see how this Essence fight will unfold. Why is he going to be backtracking for Dynamo here? I wonder if Dynamo's going to have X-Ray. That would be convenient. Fortunately not, it's just going to have a missile. Logically speaking, they would need X-Ray to fight Essence, which intrigues me as to where X-Ray might be and how far they would have to logically go to grab it. I wonder if TGC is going to go through all the others to get back to Overgrown Cavern, or if he's going to warp to start. There's a small chance he may find X-Ray on the way, and it would make the fight much easier. Fortunately, did not fully get that Magma Pool Scan Mash. Did not backtrack for Grapple Beam. Feisty had the luxury, but TGC, through grit of his teeth, made it through. Also, welcome SpeedGaming 3. You caught us here at the end of the Metroid Prime Weekly Randomizer restream. We've got both players here are almost in go mode. One of them is only one diamond away, and TGC here just cleaning things up. However, Feisty did backtrack earlier to grab all the artifacts. So, okay, looks like TGC is going to be warping to start now. Feisty's still checking around here and shows up for Ice Beam. This is very unfortunate. There were supers. There in... Wow, okay. Supers and Furnace. Did not see that one coming. Alright, TDC now backtracking from the cavern. Going to be doing animal terrain trick here. He's going to abuse the fact that there is a lot of odd terrain here that can just be stood on. As we say here in the Prime 1 community, if it looks like you can stand on it, you can definitely probably stand on it. As you see right here, it just climbs up the bulk of the crashed frigate and makes all the way to the top. So it looks like Feisty's going to be going through Hall of the Elders here, looking for plasma or ice beam, that is. Unfortunately, we do know that ice beam is all the way back in labs. Looks like possibly TGC may be going for what looks like a sub-hour, depending on how cooperative Essence is going to be this time around. Wow, he gets the ship dash. That is a very precise one-frame B-press scan dash. Nice little spicy trick. The icing on the cake for his routing. Alright, TGC now going into the Meta Ridley fight. See if he gets flight skip. No, unfortunately, that looks like it was a little bit too early, I believe. Alright, now he's just gonna have to wait for some time. Alright, now Ridley's health is just going to get deleted and give or take 10 seconds. This boost ball does a lot of damage, and it skips Ridley's entire first phase. Like Meta Ridley's being cooperative today with his choice of attack. Alright, Feisty finally gonna warp back to start, realizing that most likely realizing that he did not do labs yet. Probably gonna have to backtrack to Magmor for that. Really solid Meta Ridley fight here from TGC. Well done. Alright, TGC just gonna be making his way to Prime right now. Gonna be doing some nice sample terrain tricks to make the climb up trivial. Yeah, Feisty making his way back through farther Magmor. Gonna be going through a quarantine cave, apparently to grab what's back there. I'm also just going to check what is in Workstation. Unfortunately, that does mean he's going to have to get through Thardus in order to go grab that ice beam if he is going to take the quarantine cave side. Unfortunately did not grab super missiles on his trek through Chozo, so he's going to have to just pelt him with power charge shots until he stops moving. Guess it does look like Feisty is going to go through Thardus to go grab Ice Beam. So while not required, we are getting the luxury of being able to witness Arthardus fight this seed. Some really interesting routing differentiations here. Personally, I thought TGC's artifact routing, choice of getting the hints much earlier than Feisty, would not pay off, but Feisty taking another interesting routing decision to not go through labs and go straight back to cleaning up Chozo, which I can definitely understand. I would also probably have done that, but GTC sticking it through, continued through labs, and was rewarded with its Ice Beam. So far, a pretty solid Exo fight here from TDC. A little loss there. Basically having a little fun while Thardus enters his second form by yelling and screaming and summoning the elements. That's unfortunate. If GTC had supers there, this would be some pretty decent RNG, but unfortunately, it's not. It would have been nice if he had Exo chose Plasma there. This definitely means we'll be seeing Essence without X-Ray. And I've tried it before. It's not exactly the best, most fun thing to do. It'll definitely be interesting to see where X-Ray was this whole time. Alright, Feisty finally finishing off the first two phases of Thardus, and now going to just lay a power bomb in front of him after his hitbox appears, or hurtbox appears, that is. Gonna finish him off. You see getting some nice RNG there. Finally getting a plasma color. Doing quite well. The second to last Chubb chamber. Unfortunately, no X-ray visor there on Thardus. Just going to be a missile. Looks like Feisty finally realizes that progression has to be in labs. And by progression, that's most likely going to be Ice Beam. There was still a possibility that Ice Beam was locked behind super missiles, albeit not very, but we could have seen a drastically different seed here, or race, if Ice Beam was in main plaza tree or something along the lines of that. TDC almost finishing off Exo here. Feisty finally entering the labs. Now the main component of this race was definitely the routing decisions here. You know, some were great, some were unfortunately unlucky. It's always if that one. It's always that one spot you forget to check in a randomizer where there will be progression. Right here, we're finally entering Essence. Maybe there's a small possibility that we may find X-Ray here in Research Lab Hydra. If that is the case, it will make Vicey's life a lot easier when he has to inevitably fight Essence. TC now going on the hunt for Essence. Scan visor. Going to be a little difficult though, because Essence loves to move around, especially when you're not logged onto him. Okay, TCM going. He is going to get a few pops, shots off on Essence there. Unfortunately, not going to be much, just a small sliver of health. However, now he's going to lay another pool, and he will switch to Thermal Visor. Fortunately, TGC did not get the pool, or quick pool, on Essence. I believe he timed his shots a little too early. Oh, he got jebaited. Yeah, Essence will frequently do this roar before he places down the pool, but sometimes he will not, and that's quite annoying. Where was Ice Beam? Ice Beam was in Research Lab Aether. And TGC, when they both received Wave Beam, Vicey decided to go do clean up Magmor, or not Magmor, Chozo, do all the Wave Beam checks in there. And that was especially, I think in his head, he thought if I have Wave Beam, that means I get a lot more checks in Chozo, and since there are also a lot of artifacts in Chozo, especially Training Chamber, which is one that is locked behind Wave Beam, I can get more checks, but at the same time gather more artifacts. But TGC made a decision to backtrack through Research Lab instead of going through, and now Vicey is finally finding Ice Beam there. Now he is also in Dome mode. I believe the only artifact he should be missing is Overgrown Cavern, so all he needs to do now is get to a save station and fight Essence. Alright, there we go, TGC finally taking out Essence. Getting the final time of 54:02:54. GG's. Well played, Ginger Chris. Alright, Vicey now just gonna clean up the game. Finally get that last artifact and finish the game as well. Okay, Vicey saw the time. And he forfeits. GG from both players. It was very well done. Alright, let's get them in the call. Let's give them an interview. We've got a lot to talk about. But that was a pretty decisive moment there. The routing options there. Both players did use like a lot of good speed tricks, but it was mainly it was really just the routing that determined who won there. But still, very impressive job from both players. They both played very well, in my opinion. They did great. All right, and we will have our racers join us here in a moment for a quick interview. Virginia Chris, hello. Welcome
Hello,
on this
everybody.
call. Welcome to the stream.
Well, thank you.
We have a lot to talk about in that race. Yes, it was really well done. I'll be honest. You know, um, seriously, I think you had a lot of interesting round decisions that I kept trying to see if it was good for the long run or if it was a little, short-sighted, I guess. It was mainly
Mm.
the warp to start back to Artifact Temple pretty early on
Hmm.
for those hints. And the thing is that Feisty decided to delay those, and I was wondering if that information that you got prior was going to come in handy. And in the end, it did seem to get the victory, which it was really good. It was
Yeah.
very impressive.
So the reason I decided to dip straight out of Chozo as soon as I got the missile launcher was mainly because I wanted to grab hints so that I had the pre-knowledge of what exactly where I would need to go. But equally, the sense was that I'd probably have to come back to Chozo anyway. So I thought I'm going to have to route in from the front door of Chozo because of the limited amount of items I've got. So I may as well just pick up everything that's missile locked as I return to Chozo. So get everything done that I can do in Talon, grab my hints, and then come back in the front door and just go forward as I would do normally.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. The big thing there, though, was that Space Jump Boots was in Ruined Shrine. And Feisty didn't go back and got that early, but you also got Boost Ball. And Boost Ball is pretty big because you can get around places a lot faster than you would normally with that. And I was
Mm-hmm.
really curious to see who would benefit more from that. And there was just a lot of interesting routing options that really decided that run, especially with Ice Beam, because when Feisty got Wave Beam, what he did is he delayed labs and decided to clean up Chozo, whereas you went through labs to see what was there, and I'm assuming then you were going to go back and like clean up Chozo or Magmor, right?
Yeah, so the because I found thermal in Warrior Shrine, which was immediately logically available after bombs and fiery shores, or well, thermal was an upper
Oh, by
fiery
the
shore.
way, that Fiery Shores wall boost, well done. I must
Oh,
say that was
I'm
great.
rusty at that. I'm so
Yeah,
rusty at
I bet our stream loved to see that. It was
that.
we all love a wall boost. Anyways, you can continue. I won't interrupt you.
So yeah, so with thermal being where it was, I had a suspicion that I was either going to have to do Thardis or do labs, or the potential. The bit that I was actually really worried about was that ice was going to be in Lake
Hmm.
Magmore and not Monitor Station, Workstation,
Yeah.
because it was like where I found Spider Ball and everything started kind of coming into kind of logic or availability, and I felt like I was going away from it. So I was quite happy that I found ice where I did find it because it allowed me just to dip out immediately and go get everything.
Hmm. I feel like that routing decision there was decisive in this run. Because to be honest, I probably also would have done what Feisty did because I believe the mentality there was that because I have Wave Beam and there are a lot of artifacts in Chozo, and there's also one in Trading Chamber which is locked behind Wave Beam, and also there's a lot more in Chozo that still left to check that was freed up by Spider and Wave. There's like a bigger amount of checks you can do in Chozo, and at the same time gather those artifacts.
Yeah.
But it was a really amazing stroke of luck to grab Ice Beam there and Labs. I feel like that was an amazing uh,
Oh,
like,
definitely. Like
yeah,
doing labs without ice is one of the worst decisions, or one of the worst feeling decisions to do. Because if
yeah,
you end up
especially if
going
you don't find
all the
it.
way there and you don't find ice, it's a long trek back. And I didn't take the save observatory to the kind of the save reset
Hmm.
and then warp out. So I was banking on that to work out.
Yeah, and it did. It was incredible. I was quite shocked. Um, I was saying like I was kind of pre-saying it that Feisty may grab the advantage here because he's going to a place with a lot more stuff available. But it seriously, that it was incredible. I do wonder where was X-Ray that seed? I actually did not see the credits.
A very good question. I'm actually quite curious in that.
Yeah, because logically that is required to fight Essence, and depending on where it was, Randomania may have wanted that seed to be maybe an hour or two longer.
Yeah. Right. How do I send an invite?
Yes, I can probably take care of that. Give me one moment. Oh, I don't have invite permissions. I'm gonna have to get um someone from Diesel.
Invite.
Excuse me for one moment.
Invites are disabled. Yeah, I've not got the
I'll
permission
ask
to do that.
Diesel. Okay, it appears Diesel is not available at the moment. Um, that's okay. We will get most likely get Feisty here shortly. But yeah. How did you how'd you feel about that race? You know, there was just a lot to go through. You know, I was kind
There, yeah, like it was very jet for the majority of the stuff, and I was actually quite worried because with seeing the suits so early on, this is something I was talking to Toaster Party about. I think there's a possibility that the waiting for Prime needs to be adjusted a little bit because the last few seeds, and at least the weekly seeds, have all been super jet. And I have
Mhm,
a funny feeling that when the Cross Game Cup started, we implemented a new waiting system into Randovania,
mhm.
but I don't think it was probably like played and tested for Prime Solo because everyone was basically kind of working with CGC at the time. So I
Mhm.
think we need to tweak a little bit of the waiting for Prime just to kind of balance it out because it has been super jet as of late.
Yeah, seriously, we've had a very stacked Chozo. You know, last race, I bel there a lot of races recently. We've been seeing um just a lot of progression overall. I was very shocked by that phase on suit there in Dynamo. Um, you know, I thought the seed was gonna go on just for um like maybe another hour, maybe another half hour when we clean up most of Chozo, and then just phase on suit pops out and we see hands, and we're like, okay, this
Yeah.
this seed is gonna be a lot shorter than
As
we
soon
thought.
as I saw the hints, I had a feeling the seed was going to be super jet.
Hmm.
Because like for some reason with the way Randovania is at the moment, like with the hints, with all the artifacts being so uh, locally situated, like so early on in kind of the various areas, because the furthest out you got was uh, Chozo Ice Ruins East, Chozo
Hmm.
Findrana Ice Ruins East. So I was like, right, that is
Hmm.
something is probably going to be fairly quick unless we end up in a scavenger hunt for a single item at that point.
Hmm. Yeah, there was actually a very similar round of Schindler with Ice Beam, like something like that, where when you and Feisty both went to Vendrana, what you decided to do was go straight for Chozo Ice Temple, and that paid off in spades because that had Spider, which led to
Mm,
Wave Beam, whereas Feisty went straight for Ice Ruins East, and then went to Ice Ruins West, um,
yeah.
and then had to come
Like
back for that.
the reason I chose that is that because it was a 50-50 on whether the artifact would be locked behind Ice or Spider. So I decided to kind of go on the basis that if it is on Spider, then I may as well do Chozo Ice Temple first to maximize the chance of getting Spider before doing that check.
Mhm. Yeah, there was just a lot of routing decisions here that really made this race what it is. It was, um, yeah, it's what how you route it really benefit in the long run. I can say that for sure. Is Feisty currently available? Let's look.
There are 68 people on this channel. Yep, that is perfectly fine. I will ping it at you.
Okay.
We'll see if someone else can drop in
Mm-hmm.
and get Thizy on board
But,
for us.
mm-hmm. But we did look we did see what was on Thardus, which was a missile, because the way Feisty backtracked to labs was he warped to start to get to Chozo and came back through Magmor to go to Fendrana through Quarantine Cave, so he had to fight Thardus at that point. And Thardus unfortunately did not have X-Ray, which would have been a bit of a nice benefit for having to go through that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Where
I
were the
believe.
supers then? Because I can see from Faizy's tracker that
Yes,
the
that
supers and grapple.
yeah, I was actually mentioning that if Ice Beam was super locked, we would have gotten an extremely different ending out of this race. And they were actually in the Furnace Morpal tunnel, believe it or not.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I was very shocked about that because by that point you were already on your way to Impact Crater to fight Ridley, or just Artifact Temple to fight Ridley. Uh, but at the but at the time of that, Feisty was still like cleaning up Chozo, or most of late Chozo, and that was and he found supers as like a fluke there, which I was kind of surprised about because it seemed like it would be a progression related item if it was placed that early, but nope, it was just kind of there
Yeah.
for you to pick up.
Like, that's also the worst thing is that when you start going down a rabbit hole and you find this item, like supers, for example, all of a sudden like your super checks go in logic and you start thinking that supers is part of the logic chain to get you to where you need to go. And it possibly is because actually it could be supers locked, for example. But like that kind of thing just obviously skews you in the wrong direction and it can do more damage
Hmm.
than it
Yeah,
needs to.
certainly. Yeah. There was there was yeah, this seed was all routing, to be honest. Both of you had you guys were on point with most of the speed tricks. You know, what it really came down to was just pure decision making from like experience. Like, okay, I know that this will get me this, and this gives me this. Just overall, the knowledge here really showed this race.
Mm.
All right, we can now get Feisty in here. Let's, let's grab him. All right, I will get him an invite. All right. Okay, he's not accepting DMs. I will add him in results. I'm going to need to add Feisty in order to get the invite link.
Just pinged him, so let's see if he gets that.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that I definitely need to do some de-rusting of like my final bosses and stuff because my essence is absolutely rubbish nowadays.
I saw the essence. It's mainly that you want to just time the shots a little bit, just a little bit
Yeah,
later. You definitely had the right idea there, and also just
yeah. I
not
think
having X-ray
my
made it even worse.
yeah, I think my rhythm or yeah, I think my muscle memory or my rhythm is out
There's Feisty.
or the resets. Spicy.
Hey, welcome.
Hey,
That was quite the race. That was really something. We got a lot to cover, right? So let's get started. What are your opinions on like that race? What were your thoughts going through it?
why is Ice always an Aether?
It
Um,
just likes to chill,
yeah.
mate.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, that was the main thing is that TGC went through labs um right after he got wave, whereas you went to Chozo. And to be honest, I feel like I probably would have also gone to Chozo in that case because you just get a lot more checks there, and obviously you can backtrack for artifacts. But the fact that wave was in Research Lab Aether just completely changed things up. It was just that
Yeah.
pure decisive routing decision, you know. But you did have some interesting. There was some other routing choices that I feel like uh, got you in the lead in some cases, and sometimes it was TDC in the lead. It was very dynamic. It was especially so because TDC were to start to get hints early before he checked Ruined Shrine, and Ruined Shrine had Space Jump. Um, so Feisty, you had Space Jump for a good bit of time longer than TDC, and I thought um, that was like going to be a really important, I guess, just thing on the race. But unfortunately, that time with Ice Beam kind of um, shifted the race in his favor.
Yeah, I went back to Chozo to clean up artifacts, and also Chozo's been loaded as of late as well, so it had
Yeah.
a decent chance of being there. And then it's like, I probably should have gone labs. I probably should have gone to labs. Oh
Yeah.
God, what if it's labs?
I followed the thermal visor because the way I ended up looking at it was because going into Magma, you found bombs. Bombs gave you access to thermal, and thermal being directly outside of Fen access basically told me that I was either having to go to Labs or Thardis, depending if I found supers, and then I found Spider, and then it was a case of right,
Mhm.
maybe Spider leads me to the back of Magma, but I just chose the thermal, went straight into Labs, and kind of took that gamble.
Mhm. Yeah, and it paid off in the spades. There was another similar routing thing where TDC you went to Chozo Ice Temple, found Spider, and then immediately went to go get Wave Beam, whereas Spicy opted to immediately go into Ice Ruins East and then Ice Ruins West and backtrack for Chozo Ice Temple. A lot of these were just a lot of interesting routing choices that really just led to this race being um, just really tough to figure out who's winning and who's not, and where's what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
it was a bit of a
good.
weird one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm tired of these non-plasma modes. like,
Yeah.
like every
That's what I
time
was
you get
saying. On you go.
the every time you get plasma, but you don't get wave or ice, and you have everything else, it's kind of like which one of these really quick checks has it that are scattered about,
Yeah,
and then it
you know
becomes basically
the
whack-a-mole.
over the chances are right. I never found X-ray, and don't think you did either because it's not on the tracker. Chances
Where was
are
X-ray?
X-ray is probably in mines. It'll be like the singular check that
I
is being dropped
actually
into mines.
have the spoiler log saved, so I can open it and tell you guys real quick. I'm actually very curious as well, because that would be logically your way to, you know, beat the game.
Watch it be something
Actually,
like
when I think about it,
TNT
this was
because
Gen for
early
race,
phase
so
on.
there won't be a spoiler log. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
it
look at
won't
the
be a-
playback. But yeah, just still really well played from both of you. You know, but this whole race it was routing. The routing came in clutch.
I thought I was fine until it turned into where the hell is Ice Beam?
Exactly. You know.
Yeah, I
But
think it
that just
literally just the seed almost wrote itself outside of that one decision. I think.
Hmm.
yeah, it just reinforces my bad habit of trying to leave labs for later because if you go in the labs without ice, it's not
It's
fun
pretty
getting back
bad.
out.
We've had similar races like that, Faisy, haven't we? Where it's been literally a labs decision between
It's
us.
been the last couple weeklies. What are you talking about?
Stop doing it then.
I need to, and then next time I'm going to go in there.
Oh,
It's not going to be in there. It's going to
okay.
be, I don't know, in the tree. Which I just thought about it. I never checked the tree after game
I was
supers.
a missile.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah. By the way, I have found where X-ray is. It is in Elite Research.
Yep.
well, I don't think I was forgetting that one. I don't.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's was just not enticing at all to see it.
Can we
But yeah,
talk about the convenient gravity suit though?
it was convenient. Yeah, it was just kind of there.
Watery Hall annoyed me. I had missed like one of the scan points by a sliver, and I was
I
really
saw that.
confused that my Watery Hall was bugged because the gate wasn't opening.
Hmm. That's
Hmm,
unfortunate. You can fully scan the bar, but you need to hold it for like a couple milliseconds or whatever afterwards for it to actually work. Mm.
I do that with elevators.
Yeah, but I think we need to wrap things up here. Thank you guys. That was a really fun race to watch and commentate. Thank you to our tracker Op82 here for keeping everything running and seeing who's got what. And yeah,
And
thank you
thank you to
guys
Samuel for
for
doing
coming in.
comms for us.
Oh,
Mhm.
it was nothing. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think we will sign off now. Thank you guys. You know,
Thank you, and
it's
GG
fun.
Faisy.
GG Orange.
Yeah.
Catches.
All right. Good game. See you guys.